One place, Rodney, where you definitely would want to get tested and make sure other people are tested would be to go aboard a cruise ship. And this is a story you had on informedamerican.com. Some cruise ships are sailing. Would you go? It's a really interesting question. And we know the history was the Diamond Princess, I believe it was some months ago, that just got ravaged by coronavirus. And so let me ask you, well, I've never been on a cruise. From the description of people, it doesn't seem like anything I actually want to do. I don't know if you've been on one, but what would you think about doing something like that? Your level of
my father's a ship captain, and so to me, boats are work. And so I know that's not the case. I know there are a lot of great cruises out there, and I should go on one. I haven't done it. Cruises tend to attract the older population, and so on the face of it, they have a problem because they attract the most vulnerable among us. And so perhaps a Disney cruise, perhaps one of these more family-oriented cruises would make more sense. The ones that are sailing, they do test people when they come on or before they get on, as a matter of fact, before they embark. And so if you test positive, you cannot get on. They mentioned in what I was reading, interestingly, that people who traveled in the van with you to the boat are not allowed on, much less your immediate family. And so they're taking precautions there. They do testing on board, and then they are running at about 60% capacity.
Right.
That's really the issue. These boats are earning nothing as they're sitting at anchor. They need to generate some revenue, but there's not a good way to do it because these boats are based on density. And so if you can't get back to the density that makes you break even, then what are you doing, right? And so I don't know what they have to do. I just don't think they're there yet. I think they're waiting for herd immunity like everybody else, because I don't think enough people are going to want to take a cruise. Certainly not enough people who are over 60 to make this make sense.
No, and as you mentioned here, MSC out of Italy, they're running at 60% capacity. I mean, the economic impact, I mean, what would you... For 60% capacity, I mean, you got all that fuel, you've got, endless food, but you want this thing to be packed enough so that people just don't sit there for hours on hours with no lines, right? So you got to figure a way to make it profitable. And but looking here, as you wrote here in the story, more than 30 million passengers went on cruises last year, making it a $150 billion industry that supported 1.2 million jobs. I mean, could this be like the airlines? I mean, potentially the cruise industry it doesn't seem like they'll ever be the same after people change their habits, or just, something like Carnival might just die.
Well, Carnival might die, but remember, when companies die, what happens is they essentially, get bought up, assume, change for something else. Unless you're a buggy maker when cars come around, you tend to reinvent. And so what I think will happen is some of these companies will go under, but other people will pick up the assets in a fire sale and eventually wait until all this unwinds. Yeah. Unlike the airlines have a lot of discretionary passengers, people who are choosing to go on vacation, whatever they're doing. They have a lot of business passengers. Businesses have changed the way they do things. Businesses have realized, I don't have to see those clients. I can Zoom with those people. I don't have to send these people to go to a meeting in California for one day and then get everybody home. I don't have to do all these conferences. I don't have to do all these team meetings. And so businesses have fundamentally changed the way they operate. That's going to affect airlines. Cruises, I think they come back because people want to go on a cruise. It's not a business thing. And you should be very interested in this because you're in Tampa, Florida. People think of cruises as the boats. That's one piece. The shore part is very important. That point of the voyage where they leave and where they come back. Yeah. People travel there, they stay there, they spend money there, their cars are there. You have the fees that they pay for the ports. There are all sorts of things that go into a ship that size and the people that happens on land, and that's a lot of money for the economy.
Well, in fact, they just redesigned the Port of Tampa with brand new buildings. They redeveloped the whole area down there, and then what the heck? So the good point to there, all that knock-on effects. But one of the silver linings, though, as you mentioned, I hate flying, so that has been one silver lining for me. I haven't had to fly to any meetings or anything like that. Happy to do as much Zoom as you'll allow me to do.